Oh, why I got on these glasses?
Mind the business that pays you. Yeah. Our people walk in power, we gon' blow up. No fear, no doubt, we gon' show up. Set your boundaries, shine bright, no fright. Unapologetic, we fight for what's right. Family keeper, that's a state of mind. Power protection all by design. Family keeper, we rise, we shine. Power protection all by design. Mind the business that pays you.
Hey everyone, hi Mindsetters, welcome back. I'm Monique Donyale Harrell, CEO of Singleton Builders, and you are tuned in to Mind the Business That Pays You, where we have conversations with entrepreneurs, building impact, legacy, and assets.
And I am Rochelle B. Gray, CEO of the Power Elite Network and the Business Grid. I want to rename the Genius Grid. It's been a long day.
How's the weather in Charlotte? Normally you come on bragging
it's
about the
pretty
weather.
good. Yeah, it's pretty good. We was in sleeves today, no coats, so it's pretty good.
Well, it was nice in Jersey, just so you know, girl.
I'm so happy to know that.
It's a heat wave over here. Oh, goodness. Well, Mindsetters, if you align with our conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Starting next week, we have great news. We will be going live from our at Biz That Pays channel on YouTube, or you can go to Mind the Business That Pays You on YouTube. We will be streaming live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will no longer be streaming live from my personal Facebook page, which is Monique Donyale Harrell. We will now be streaming live from our Facebook business page, Mind the Business That Pays You. So make sure next week, yes, you know, get over there to one of those pages. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook. Again, that's Mind the Business That Pays You. And also, we will be streaming live from our YouTube platform at Biz That Pays, or Mind the Business That Pays You on YouTube.
All right.
Oh, and tonight we're streaming live on the YouTube as well. Thanks, Marlo. That's right. We're streaming live on our YouTube platform at Biz That Pays. All right. It's
Okay.
Good. We have an awesome, powerful guest tonight. His name is Wayne Smith. Our conversations will be inside leadership at the highest level. You got to stay tuned. He's going to be an awesome guest. He's a former mayor of Irvington, New Jersey. For those that are from Jersey, because I know people watch from all around the world, but make sure y'all stay tuned. He's a powerful guest, and he will be up next. So,
all right.
You ready to get into our CEO check-in?
I am ready.
All right, let me put on these spectacles. You know how that is with people at a certain age. We need our spectacles. So tonight, my CEO check-in will be 5 pointers on how to scope out a good investment property. So here's my 5 pointers to you guys. Location over everything. I know I say it a lot, but it's really important that you know location over everything. Focus on the area, not just the property. Look for growth, such as development, schools, transportations. Maybe you need to visit the city hall. Ask them, what do you guys have lined up for the city? What's your 5-year projection? What's going on? Are you building? Or are you, what are you doing to improve this city in the next 5 years? Because if there's nothing going on, then maybe you need to move on to a place where they got something going on. So,
all right.
Right, a bad property in a great area will always win. But if you get a good property in a bad area, you're going to lose all day. And if you don't understand that, think about what I said, and you'll figure out what I'm talking about. Or if you go the wrong way, you're going to figure out what I'm talking about. So try to focus on the areas that you buy properties in. Number 2, Know your numbers. I know I always talk about numbers, guys, but numbers are so important when you're doing a deal. You have to know your profit margin. You need to know your purchase price. You need to know the ARV. You need to know how much into the work scope you're going to go. You have to have miscellaneous added in there to put aside because you may want to sell it in 2 months and it takes 6 months. That could be devastating. That could be a no-go all day if your numbers are not right. So make sure your decisions are made based on the data, not just you being in your emotions and feelings and stuff about what you want to purchase. So always make sure you run comps before making offers. Create a deal analysis sheet so you can figure out what's going on and follow your plan. If the numbers don't work, I'm telling you now, walk away. Don't sit there and play mind games with yourself. Well, if I do this, I could do this and I could do that. No, you can't. Been there, done that. Doesn't work out for you. Make sure you stick to your plan and do what you say you're going to do. Because if not, that deal going to show you. So my third point is bones matter more than beauty. When we say bones in real estate, we're talking about the foundation of the property. We're talking about the roofing, the plumbing, the electrical. All of that stuff is the bones of the house. Cosmetics is an easy fix. You could come in, do some painting, change some cabinets, lift up some floors, put some carpet down, do your bathrooms over, because we all know kitchens and bathrooms is what sell properties. But the bones, if you run into a foundation problem, baby, you're going to have a problem. If you got some cracks in that foundation and, when people go on FHA, they have these home inspectors that come in and they getting paid about $500 to $800 to make sure they give you 25 sheets of something that's wrong. Because I built a whole new construction. There was nothing wrong with it, and they came in with about 20 pages of things. How are you going to come in with 20 pages of things on a brand new construction that has nothing wrong with it? It's no way you should come in with something, but they got to get paid for something. You can't pay them $500 to $800, and they come back with no sheets saying, "Oh, everything's great. You're gonna want your money back." So everybody have a job to do, and that's fine. But make sure you do your job. Your job is to make sure that you check the foundation, which we call the bones of the house, and make sure the structural issues. You don't have any structural issues because paint is cute, but pipes can bankrupt you. When you got to go into changing some pipes and you didn't put that in that budget. Yeah, it's not going to work out well for you. So always get a professional inspection if you can. Budget for unseen repairs and bring a contractor when possible to help you out in making decisions on things you can't see with the naked eye, which is the bones of the house. So that moves me to my fourth step. My fourth point is cash flow versus ego. Please, everyone, focus on monthly income, not ownership pride. Low cash flow deals can hurt you long-term significantly, way more than you think they can. If it doesn't pay you, it's costing you. Analyze rental versus expenses. Aim for strong cash flow. Y'all always know my motto, pay yourself first. If it's not money in the deal, or if you're only making $100 or a $200 profit, unless you have enough room in it for equity, that wouldn't be a good deal for you if you're only going to walk away with $100 to $200 a month. Because at the end of the day, if something break, a boiler, water heaters, you have anything that could go wrong, it's going to cost you upward $500 to $1,000, and you are only making $100 profit a month. There goes you going to the red in the second month, or or what have you. So the numbers wouldn't work out. So make sure that you know your numbers and go over your numbers before anything, and do not let your ego get in the way just so you can say, "Oh, I own a property. Oh yeah, I own 2 properties," and you're only making $200 a month from each one, or total. That's nothing you should be bragging about, unless you have, like I said, you got the house really cheap and the margin of your equity is big. But then again, that wouldn't make sense, because if your equity is big, you got the house for cheap, your mortgage is not even going to be high, so you should be profiting more than $200 a month. So make sure you always do your numbers. And my last point is your exit strategy comes first. Know your plan. If you're going to fix and flip, if you're going to do rental, if you're going to do buy and hold, you're going to do wholesale deals, always know your exit strategy first. Don't come in and buy the property and then try to figure out your exit strategy. that's not going to work out for you. You're not going to have the proper numbers. You're not going to know the data on the property. You're not going to know if the property is improving, because that makes a difference. If you go to a neighborhood and you see where there's a whole bunch of boarded up properties, don't purchase that property. That means the area is not growing. That means your ARV is going to be low. So always pay attention to these things. And my last thing is stop buying properties because they look good. Start buying properties because they pay good. I'm Monique Donyale Harrell, CEO of Singleton Builders. You can check me out online, singletonbuildersllc.com. And you are tuned in to Mind the Business That Pays You.
Wow, that was a powerful check-in.
Thank you.
It matters to be a builder. It really does. I'm sitting here going,
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when we bought our house, when I was married, our inspector was really good because come to find out, there was a root from a tree growing, had burst through the water line and the sewage line.
That's a problem.
And if I don't even know how he found that. I was like, this guy was everywhere. And they had to fix it before we bought that house, so we was going to pull out.
Wow.
But that would have been, like you said, a very expensive.
Very expensive. So know what
for
you're
us
doing.
to have
know
to
what
pay.
You're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here I go, my CEO check-in. Let me make this plain. I was like, this is true. A lot of entrepreneurs are working hard. They're posting hard. They're selling hard. And some of us even praying hard. But they're building businesses in cities they do not understand. And that's a mistake.
Okay.
Because whether you realize it or not, your local government affects your business.
Yes.
It affects where you operate, where you can operate, what grants are available, what contracts are coming, what events are being funded, what permits you need, what communities are being developed, as CEO Monique just said, and what doors may open or close. Too many business owners only pay attention to government when something goes wrong, when the fees go up, when they can't get their permit, when the policy changes, when the contract goes to somebody else, or when new development comes in and they were never in the room. But I'm telling you, strong CEOs don't just build businesses. They learn the system around the business. You don't have to be political to be informed.
That's right.
You don't have to run for office to pay attention. But if you are serious about growth, influence, ownership, and long-term success, you need to know what's happening in your local government. So here are 4 reasons every entrepreneur needs to stay informed. Number 1, local government controls opportunities. Your city and county often know about opportunities before the public starts talking about them. I'm talking vendor opportunities, small business grants, revitalization projects, community events, construction bids, youth programs, commercial growth, and partnerships. And if you're not paying attention, you may miss the very opportunity your business has been praying and preparing for. A smart entrepreneur asks, what's being built? What's being funded? Who are they looking to work with? Where is my business positioned in that conversation? Number 2, local decisions can affect your bottom line. Zoning, permits, taxes, licenses, traffic patterns, street improvements, parking, safety initiatives, and community development all affect how your business gets done.
True.
So while some people only focus on their product, a real CEO understands the environment around the product. Because the truth is, you can have a great business idea and still struggle if you do not understand the local rules, changes, and the priorities shaping your market. 3, relationships with local leaders matter.
Sure do.
Many entrepreneurs wait until they need something, right, to try to build a relationship. Too late, and that's backwards.
That's right.
You want to know who represents your area, and I'm keen on that.
Yeah.
I'm not just voting for you to be voting for you.
Right.
I'm going to know who represents my area. You want to know who is advocating for small business.
Right.
And you had a new governor in New Jersey. That was her thing. So call her on it.
Yep.
You want to know which departments handles economic development, community engagement, minority business participation, permits, or redevelopment. And you might ask me why. Because proximity to information matters, and relationships can often lead to access, clarity, invitations,
Yes.
and collaboration. And we can tell you, because we're going to show you something real soon.
Yes.
Sometimes the next level in your business is not in just your marketing. Sometimes it's in your awareness.
That's true.
My last tip, or my last tip. Informed entrepreneurs become stronger community builders. The most powerful businesses do not just make money, they make impact. When you know what's happening in your city, you can align your business with real needs. You can serve your community better. You can create solutions that matter and be known for them. You can show up where decisions are being discussed. And you can become the kind of entrepreneur who is respected, trusted, and remembered. That's how you move from just having a business to having influence. So I'm going to tell you, follow your city and county pages, your city council, your government, your economic development office, and your chamber pages on social media and online.
Right.
Try to attend some meetings or at least watch the recaps.
Right.
You don't have to attend every meeting in person, but at least watch. They got summaries, agendas, recaps of city council and planning meeting, because you need to start hearing where the money is going, what projects are coming, and where the priorities are. Learn your key players and ask better business questions. Start asking, what is my city invested in? What businesses are needed here?
Right.
What contracts are opening?
That's right.
What neighborhoods are changing, like Monique said. You don't want to build your business or buying an area that's not going anywhere.
Right. That part.
Really? What conversations do I need to be in? Because better questions lead to better positioning. So my message for the day is, don't build blind.
That's right.
Don't just hustle. Get involved. Get connected. Get in the room. Because when entrepreneurs understand local government, they stop operating like outsiders
That's
and
right.
start moving like leaders. And leaders don't just wait for opportunity. They position themselves for it.
That's right. That's right.
If this CEO check-in helps you think differently, click below and subscribe to Mind the Business That Pays You, because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
That's my CEO check-in.
Nice check-in.
I was like, oh, we got the right guest for the questions.
Absolutely.
So,
We sure. I was going to say, you and I tied in when I was. And
We
then
did.
our
I was
powerful
like,
guest
okay.
coming up next. So everyone make sure you stay tuned for our powerful guest, Wayne Smith. He will be up next. So make sure you stay tuned. And we will be right back.
All right.
Hey, Mindsetters, we are back and we have our powerhouse guest on standby. Let me read his introduction. Mindsetters, our powerhouse guest tonight is Wayne Smith. He is not just the former mayor of Irvington, New Jersey. He is a proven leader who has helped shape communities, been recognized through awards, and honored by committees. We will be talking to a man who understands what it really takes to lead, make tough decisions, and create lasting change. Welcome to our show.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted. Listen, the show is over. your CEO check-ins, I couldn't add any more to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot
That was powerful. All so true.
Thank you.
And you're the perfect guest to elaborate on our CEO check-ins, which we didn't even realize it was going to collaborate so well. So what we like to do is have our guests start with a little backstory of who you are, so that people will know you didn't just get powerful by waking up in the middle of the night somewhere. You have a backstory.
No. So it's interesting. I spent 12 years as mayor of the third largest city in Essex County in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. But before mayor, people don't remember that I was the chief of staff of the first Black mayor in Irvington, was a gentleman by the name of Mike Steele. Okay. And before that, I was a business person. So business, as Rochelle so adequately made, business people have a natural nexus to what government does, because everything that you do in business is regulated in some way, somehow, by government. So you're affected by that. So my interest in politics and government actually grew from my involvement as a business person. Mm-hmm. So my first business was primarily in the life and health insurance end of the market. Okay. And I was able to procure nonprofit and governmental contracts. I had some of the largest Head Start contracts. I had the employee benefits. In fact, it's an interesting story. Monique, you may know the former Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Sheila Oliver. Yes. When I was in my early 20s, she gave me an opportunity. She ran a very large organization. They had the largest Head Start organization probably in New Jersey. She ran a group called the Leaguers, major youth development organization, before she even got into government and politics. Okay. She ran that nonprofit and gave me the contract. I was a young man. I came in, pitched, I can save you some money on your group health benefits. Wow. She gave me a shot, and I was able to procure that contract, and several others like that, East Orange Child Development Corporation. So therein kind of was my nexus into, being involved with government contracts, politics, and so forth. And that kind of is my story. Business and government are synonymous. Yes. The real business of government is business. Yes. You can't generate tax revenue for your city unless you bring in business. Government doesn't create anything other than it is a funnel for potential opportunities. So that's kind of like my story. I got involved in a number of community initiatives. And Monique, in my early journey, people like Quadri Alameen, who's one of your early guests. Well, in my younger years, I was involved with him with concert promotions. And my other partner, who's now deceased, Qasim Akbar, was a boxing promoter. Yes. So we learned from a few older guys who were in that entertainment space how to bring crowds together. So we promoted concerts like Ashford and Simpson. The Temptations, one of the largest grossing concerts at Newark Symphony Hall was the Temptations. Oh, yeah. We brought Phyllis Hyman in. We brought just a whole series of entertainment acts into our Newark and Essex County area. So that was kind of, my other kind of promotional hat. And there's a nexus between entertainment and politics as well.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can't be a good politician unless you're able to put on a good show.
Yes.
So you got to attract people's attention. You got to set. So I always say that I spent my early formative years before becoming a mayor of a city in a number of the areas of persuasion businesses, whether it was entertainment, whether it was sports, whether it was promoting parties and places where people hang out. All those things kind of built up. And then people, you'll become a social animal. People know you're doing this. And so your next elite, we know Wayne. Yeah, he used to do this. He's running for city council. He's a good brother. So that so I served on the city council first for 6 years. Okay. And my colleagues picked me to be president for those years. Okay. And then in 2002, I decided to throw my hat in and run for mayor. Now, it wasn't an easy journey.
Yes. Now, how was that journey? Like, what's the preparation for someone who wants to run for that position? What kind of advice can you give them to prepare to run to even be the mayor of, especially a large city like Irvington?
Well, so I would say people have to have some kind of community grounding. People have to know that you have some kind of public spirit. And so I would suggest people begin to learn their community, as Rochelle suggested, by going to the city council meetings, by participating in nonprofit organizations. I served on a number of boards, got a chance to be the chief of staff to a mayor. So I was actually an understudy to the first Black mayor in the city. So I got a chance to see up close and personal what kind of things that the mayor is challenged by. And then I ran for the city council. I got to be a councilman first, and then I got a chance to be president of the city council. Now, but here's the thing that, because we're in an election cycle in our communities right now.
Yes, we are.
We got a lot of people running for office, and I always tell, and I get calls from people now that I'm more of a private person.
Right.
I can talk to them privately because I don't have a favorite candidate. Because whoever wins, I want to be able to do business with.
Right.
But you help people privately, and so what I tell them, I said, number one, like any business venture, because when you run for office, that's probably one of the biggest entrepreneurial pursuits you'll pursue. You have to raise capital. And what do I mean by capital? All those signs and advertisements that you see cost money. And so if you don't have it in your pocket to write the check yourself, you have to raise it.
Wow.
Like you raise capital for your business. So you have to determine, like, okay, what does it take for me to get my message out? First of all, you got to have one. What are you going to do that is different or better than the people that are also seeking that office, or that you think can improve the city? And you have to convince the voters in your area that you have the wherewithal to do that. And so that means you're going to probably have to communicate with them through snail mail or regular mail, through television, through social media. Now, when I started, it was very much social media, and that evolved into a necessary thing now. And so all the channels of communication that you can develop, some of them are free, but most of them you have to pay for. So you have to have a budget in order to do that. Then you have to have a team, because most people get elected because a lot of people support them and believe in the message that they're carrying. So you have to have a lot of messengers who support your candidacy, who will work for you, get out, knock doors, hang up posters and flyers for you, raise money for you, give events for you, welcome you into your home where you can talk to voters and so forth. So it's an enterprise that requires a nimble leader, one who is personable. There's a skill set that's unique, but all of those skill sets are very much like running a business. You have to be a leader. You have to know when to say yes, and when to say no. And people, so one of the interesting things, people love you when you're mayor, when you get to say yes.
Right.
But when you do the long-term situation may not be good for the community or good for a particular situation, you have to be strong enough to say no. And that means, you're going to be some days when, people love you, and there are going to be some days where they don't like you so much. And so you have to be able to weather that storm. But business is very much the same way. I mean, you have some days where your employees love you, especially on payday. Right. And then, but when you have to work them to death, they don't love you so much.
Right.
That's what it takes to run a successful business. And government is very much, they have your yeses and your nos. But, that's pretty much the gist of it. And, anybody who has a desire to do it, first have a love for the community you want to serve in, and have some real concrete ideas. Don't just be ambitious for ambition's sake. Have a skill set that you think that can turn a situation around if you want to make change, or if you just think that you have the disposition and qualities that'll make a good leader, then put yourself out there. And but it takes time. It's like any product. People have to get to know that product. Most products don't sell overnight. They have to be advertised, marketed. People have to get to know you. Most politicians don't win the first time.
Oh, they don't?
That's a rarity. Most politicians lose the first time.
Why would you think that? Not thinking, why?
Because it's hard to overcome someone that's already been in office that people trust.
Yeah, so
people don't like change either.
I was mayor. I ran for mayor 3 times, and I won 3 times. The 4th time I didn't.
Oh.
So it took a long time to get me removed from office.
Okay.
But so
was it the trust that the people trusted you? Was that it, or was it that you were just doing an excellent job?
Right,
Yeah,
Bo?
yeah. Some of it is that you are doing what the people want you to do,
Okay.
and that you're meeting your objectives that you talked about.
Right.
Sometimes your brand could run out too. You could be
Mhm.
going well, but sometimes people just want to try something different.
Okay.
Sometimes your
Okay.
shelf life can run out. So,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, you have to be in a position where you serve with a purpose. People want to know what you're going to do. Yeah,
Right.
I hear all these candidates tell people how bad the other person is, and sometimes that works.
Yeah.
But the
sometimes.
reality is, you better have a plan about this is how I look at politics now as a consumer, because I consume candidates too.
Right.
So I say, well, let me hear what the person says they're going to do.
Okay.
Then I look at the person. Can he do that? One of the best barometers of what a person will do is what they have done.
Mhm. That's exactly right.
Their track record.
So you
That's
look
exactly
at their
right.
you look at their life story and say, okay, he may have the capability to do that.
Okay.
But then if a person's talk has no barometer of a reality, then you say, I don't know if this person really has the wherewithal. What has he done?
Right. To lead up to being
So,
able to complete this job.
You're going to say you're going to do all this and this and that. What have you done? So sometimes the voters will give you a shot because they believe in you. There's something about you that you have sold your story. But my critical analysis as an old guy now is I want to see
we're not old. We're not old.
Yeah, no. Listen, we're not old because we're not cold.
I know that's right. right. That's absolutely
But
true.
in listening to you, you're an informed, mature voter, because most of us vote with our hearts, not our heads.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they're not even going to think about going and looking at what that person's platform is. But especially if you're an entrepreneur, you should.
No, absolutely.
One of the questions I always ask candidates is, what would you do if you lose? See, if you're not going to still do something in the community, I don't have any interest.
Well, that's exactly right. Some people run for office. That's why the first time most politicians don't win. The voters know that if they come back, that they were serious.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
they were committed to the community and then sometimes they'll they didn't vote for him the first time. Right. They say, you know what, he didn't go away or she didn't go away.
Right.
And they stayed active in the community. Right. I see them everywhere. They're doing things to help make the quality of life better. Then we're going to give them a shot.
Right.
And then you have what I call election time politicians. You only see them at election time.
Okay.
When it's time to vote and so forth. So people are not stupid. They know those kind of folks
sure
too.
Enough do. Yeah.
We sure do.
So you can't be what I tell every young aspiring politician. Listen, don't dare go into any house of worship when you're running. If you don't go there when you're not running.
That's right.
Right.
That's absolutely true.
Exactly right.
Running, you got to dash in and out. And don't believe that people don't say, oh, he only comes when it's election time.
Right.
And he don't even stay.
That is true.
So if you plan on being a part of the community, go hop into those places.
Right.
Learn the people. See what's going on. Have conversations. People will tell you stuff that you'll never know by being engaged.
That's exactly right.
That's true.
The other thing, though, when you get the office, you have to continue that process. What happens is people get elected and they lose touch with the community as well.
Right.
And you have to stay the same skills that got you elected will keep you elected.
Right.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs need to get to know their officials. How can they do that and build a relationship without coming off as fake or wanting something?
Well, I always say a person who doesn't want something, I don't want to be bothered with. Everybody wants something. If you don't have an agenda, then you ain't good for yourself.
Right. So that's good.
You got to have an agenda for something. Mm-hmm. So I would say, there are a couple of things you should do. Like, I think your suggestions were excellent. Go to your town meetings when you can. When you're running a business, sometimes you don't have a lot of time. Right. But, what you do is you set aside maybe once or twice a month to attend some community meeting, make yourself known. Chamber of Commerces are good to be part of. In fact, part of my backstory is I was very active in Chamber of Commerces. 1995, I was elected in New Jersey, not just in my communities, but I was a delegate to the White House Conference on Small Business.
Nice.
Bill Clinton was president.
Okay.
And I got elected by business owners from the state of New Jersey,
Oh, nice.
not from Irvington, not from Newark, not
Right.
from Orange,
So somebody
but from
knew
the
about
entire
you.
state.
Right.
So you get yourself, known, and public officials will get to know you. Let me say this to you too.
Okay.
Part of being a politician is politicians want to know the entrepreneurs, because usually you can afford to buy a ticket to an event.
Yeah, I
That's
know
true.
that's right.
That's
For that
true.
fundraiser you were just talking
Yeah,
about, right?
that's
Those
the money. That
fundraisers.
That
so
is
they,
true.
Yeah,
as
those
well as you
fundraisers.
want to know them, they also want to
Wanna
get
know
to know
you.
you, and they want to be your friend as
That's
well as you want to be. Now,
That's
what
true.
comes out of that relationship is important. And Rochelle, I think you did a wonderful job at talking about those key points.
Thank you.
Is what is the city's plan for the future?
That's right.
Right.
Where are the development areas going to be? So Singleton Builders, I remember
Yes.
you were doing something down in Atlantic City.
Yes.
And I think that urban cities, and I was president of the New Jersey Urban Mayors Association for 7 years. That's all the big cities in New Jersey. My last year as mayor, I would chair the conference of mayors for the entire state.
Okay.
But every city has what they call a master plan.
Right.
And that master plan will tell you where the city is pushing
Right.
to get investment or investment is done. So
Yes.
you did several things. One is look at where industry may be looking to come to.
That's
One
right.
of the things interesting about the area that I governed in is that we're so very close to New York City
Yes.
that it makes those hubs very interesting. The transportation corridors were excellent in that part of the state. So that's what we sold. And so at the end of the day, you need to know that information.
Yes.
The other thing is, as you said, cities sometimes have monies for entrepreneurs that they can
Yes.
utilize, whether it's around real estate development, but sometimes it's microloans.
Right.
Sometimes it's storefront assistance to fix up your storefront. There are all kinds of pots of money that you might be able to tap in to assist your business. Sometimes you find that stuff through the local chamber, and there are different kind of chambers. I want to just kind of emphasize one of the things.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
So there are local chambers, like Irvington has a chamber, East Orange may have a chamber, Charlotte may have a chamber of commerce. But then there are women chamber of commerce. There are African American chamber of
I know
commerce.
about that one, of course.
I know that
There are
one.
Latino chamber of commerce. So there are little niches where you can develop alliances and allegiance and find out different things. Some of those chambers have loan funds and training programs and all those kinds of things that can benefit your business. So those are important ways to meet. There are other kinds of business associations out there too. The other thing that when I go into a local community and after I go to the chamber, I want to find out if they're merchant associations.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes there are corridors of businesses where they have merchant associations. So it could be a bunch of retail stores now. So if you're depending on what kind of business you're in. So like when I was in the insurance business, well, everybody needs some form of insurance.
Right.
So I would want to be the retailers one. Yeah, well, listen, you own a business. What happens? What if something happens to you? You get to say you want to take care of it. So you whatever your business is, whatever your niche is, find out why you should be a part of that particular association.
Absolutely.
There's industry associations. So if you're in the real estate business, there's real estate associations, there's builders associations, there's contractor associations. All of those associations have hats, most of them. They have political action committees where they push for legislation, not only on the state level, but they push for things that help businesses on a local level. Permits and certain ordinances that prevent you from doing stuff. That's part of what my business does now. I help small companies and large companies do that. I got to give you some mechanics of some of the things I'm working on now. I'm working with one of the young lady, happens to be an African American realtor. She was able to procure some land from the city of Newark. She got 12 lots. She built some 2 and 3 family houses on 11 of them. Right now, we're building it right now, a 19-unit affordable complex.
Right. I remember you
Nice.
and I was speaking about that.
Yeah, right. So here's how firms like mine and the relationships matter. So, and this is funny because I knew her father, and I have this concept: social capital is important. Who you know and
Yes,
who
it
knows
is.
you.
Yes,
It's
yes,
the truth.
it
It's the
is.
truth.
I knew her father. When I was a teenager, I worked for her father in a restaurant.
Did
Wow.
you?
He subsequently, he's deceased now. May God be pleased with him. He was in the oil business, the real estate business. So she followed him into the real estate business.
Okay.
When I was mayor, she did a little development in my town. I was able to get some federal money to her to help with that development. They have a daycare center in the building still to this day. She came to me after I was out of office and she was doing her projects in Newark to help her put together some deals for this real estate she had. The 19-unit building, we got some state money, about $4.3 million to do 19 units of affordable housing. We still didn't have enough.
Yeah, I know how that could work
Yeah.
out too.
So because I knew a developer who I had consulted with a bigger developer, and one of the challenges this particular client had, she didn't have experience with the state agency. So I took her to a nonprofit that had experience and attached her to it. And then I took an experienced builder and who had the financial portfolio and said, he's going to build the building for you. She's the developer.
Right.
He'll finance the $600,000 gap because he can afford to.
Right. Okay.
And he's going to make money on the back end as the builder.
Absolutely.
But now the state can't say no.
Right.
To her because you got an experienced builder who's got a proven track. Now, had I not been in a position to put the parties together, maybe that deal might not have flown.
It probably wouldn't have flown. Now, can you tell everybody the name of your company? Like, give us that information.
Wayne Smith and Associates. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta let everybody know where that's at. How can they even reach you on that business? We have more questions, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Because I'm be like, this is Rochelle B. Gray of the Genius Grid and Mind the Business Page. You may I speak to Mr. Wayne Smith, please?
So you can always reach me at 973-204-5639.
Say it one more time because Rochelle was laughing. We can't hear you.
973-204-5639.
Okay.
Interesting enough, I worked on a project in Irvington recently at the Maplewood line, so location is important.
Okay. Yes.
And this young developer was a contractor, but he never really did develop, so he didn't have a team.
Right.
So he didn't know what lawyer to hire for this particular community that would help ease the pain a little bit. So he put together the team for him, and he's moving ahead with his project.
Right.
So those are the kinds of things that we do.
Absolutely.
And I use all of those skills as a former mayor because I know how these systems work. And there's even in a bad economy, there's resources. I couldn't have. I was laughing my can off when I heard.
You're very resourced, though. You have a lot.
Yeah, when I heard your CEO tips in the earlier part of the show, because that's absolutely right, and that's how I make a living now. Yeah. I know where these resources are, and a lot of people don't.
Yes,
I mean,
they don't.
It's not because they're just not familiar with that part of the system.
Right.
And so
your
putting
experience
together
and background.
Absolutely. So it helps. It helps.
Yes.
Yep, it absolutely does. So those are the kinds of things that I think, and I have a very unique, and what I do now is I really only work on things that I like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when it's good to be in that place in life, right?
Yes,
I can say yes or no to whatever I want to do.
Yes.
Right.
Some of you like youth.
Yeah. So, and I pick on particular. I was telling Monique about one of the growing fields, and I'm a serial entrepreneur at best, but one of the emerging fields, and I'm not a technocrat, but I try to
Me
get.
either. But we can build stuff.
But
We're okay though.
but that doesn't mean you can't be involved with technology companies.
Right.
Oh yeah,
One of-
I remember what we were
Yeah,
speaking about.
So one of
Yes,
one of the
yes.
greatest gifts that artificial intelligence is bringing, because I used to do marketing and PR stuff, and I still do for some clients, is that we have developed. It's called Look Media. It's actually an Australian company.
Okay.
We're able to help market companies. So, for instance, if you have a project that you want to roll out nationally or regionally,
Right.
and you want to reach all the media publications out there and get your story told, well, we help companies do that,
Yes.
and we help them develop their storyline based on that particular journalist style. So if a we have it all in a database, every major newspaper in there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Right.
it's awesome.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the projects that I'm working on as well, and helping. In fact, I've been talking to Quadri about helping roll out some entertainment projects that way,
Right.
Nice.
Right.
because he says the traditional PR model may not be working the same as they used to, and every
Right.
business goes through
Yeah, it
its
does.
changes.
Yeah.
So
That's
Well, I
smart to
can't wait
realize
till I
that.
get in that loop with it, because we were speaking about that when you told me about
yeah,
that project. I was
We'll
so
talk.
excited.
We'll definitely
Yeah.
follow
I was
up
definitely
after
excited
the
about
show.
that.
And I'm a born Jersey girl. I just moved to Charlotte 11 years ago. So
Well, you're in the triangle, so you're in a hot
yes,
region.
I am. That's right.
You're in a very hot region.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on there in North Carolina. I've expanded my outreach into the DMV area. So I not only am on the East Coast, but I have an operation in the Maryland area. Right up, I'm like
Oh.
20 minutes from Washington and about 30 minutes from Baltimore.
Oh, I gotta let my daughter know.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
she's a
so
therapist.
I'm trying. We're expanding our reach out into those areas.
Nice.
Because,
You're
well,
doing a
listen.
lot of amazing things, though. I mean,
Yeah,
people
you
no
have.
idea.
You
You have
have.
a lot going on. You're very informative, and you're a trustworthy person from what I know
You
of
are.
you. Especially
Yeah,
when, remember, I
yeah,
had that
listen.
problem before in Irvington. I came right to you. I was upset. I was like, they're doing this to me in Irvington, and you straightened it out. And I mean, Irvington is awesome still to this day, but you helped me out a lot. And again, that was the relationship. They didn't know I
Right.
knew you when I went in there to get my permits and stuff, because I'm following protocol. But when they got out of line,
Right.
you made sure you corrected the problem and made sure everybody worked together so that I can get my permits, and they can follow what they were supposed to be doing as well. So connections, like you said, are so very important, because I went
They
to
are.
bless his soul Kasim.
Kasim,
At the time,
yeah,
I was
Kasim.
like, no, they did this and that, and I done knocked stuff on the floor because I'm all upset. But anyway, it got straightened out really good, and connections know where you are, because certain towns may not have cared, but that particular town did care, and they did resolve the issue, and it's important to be in those type of towns.
It
Yeah, no,
is.
absolutely. No, it's important. I think, what both of you said it early in the show. That's one of the ways you measure your public service.
Yes.
If you don't have access, and when you have a problem, they can't always fix every problem. And
Right.
I used to
They
I
can't.
used to tell people that one thing I will do is, I'm going to be honest. If I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So there's nothing else to be said. It'll get fixed. But if I
Right.
can, I'm going to talk to you about it
Right.
and tell you why. I used to tell my
That's
staff
what
this
I
is
like
important.
about you.
One of the things I used to tell my staff, I said, it's one reason to tell people no, but don't tell people no. Tell them how.
Right. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, don't tell them. Say, listen, I can't do it that way, but this is how we can do it.
Right. Give them a
And
solution.
so what happens is, and I always remind people, and I do this now when I know some of the people. I say, I used to be behind that desk too.
No, that's right.
I said,
know
now,
that's
so
right.
tell me, how can we do this? I want to help.
Right,
Right.
because I
achieve
know
your goal.
there's a language in
Tell
school.
me I
Right.
need to get this done. So
That's
tell me what I
right.
need to do.
Because we know there's a way.
Fair and balanced approach to that. I don't want to get you in
Absolutely.
trouble, and I don't
Right.
want
Want
to
to
get
get
in
in
trouble.
trouble? Right.
Right, but we
Absolutely.
know there's a way.
Can we work this? Can we work this
Right.
too? And then sometimes people will say, okay, this is what I need you to do.
Right,
and
here's the
this is what I
problem,
can
what's
do
the
to make this
solution?
easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things civil servants have to get. It's not just a job; it's a calling, and it's very hard to find those kind of people.
Yes, it is.
So a lot of times the imprint is at the top. So Rochelle, one of the things I like about what you said, one of the things, accessibility for a public official is important.
Yes.
If you're not, you can't be everywhere every time.
Right.
Right.
Agree that you need to know what's going on out there. Sometimes
You
I would
do.
disappear, go into the community, just talk to people.
Right.
Okay.
And I would find out stuff that I would, if I stayed in the office, I'd
You would have
never know.
knew.
Right.
You would have
It's
never knew
true.
that.
And I would call the police up and I say,
It's true.
I tell the police director, I say, go to so-and-so address and look behind so-and-so. Because people tell you stuff when they see
They
you.
will.
Right,
They
they
say
sure
they
will.
They can't tell you in front. They ain't gonna tell you if the policeman is up there.
Right.
So you gotta put yourself in a position where people can talk to you
Right.
and
It's
tell
true.
you stuff, but they ain't gonna tell you in front of everybody, so somebody can say, "Well, you the one told you." So they
It's true.
say, "How did you know that?" I said, "Don't worry about that. You just go clean it up."
It's the
Well,
truth.
let me
Pick it
ask
up,
you
you know,
this.
whatever.
How do you deal with criticism when you know you're making the right decisions, but people may think that you're not? How do you deal
Well,
with
you
that?
gotta take it on the chin.
Okay.
That's
a good thing.
Leadership is. Leadership
It's not
is
always popular.
Yeah, that's right. You have to take it on the chin sometimes. And so, you learn, that when the accolades are good and they're clapping,
Right.
but sometimes they're going
Gonna
to
stop clapping.
And if you can't take that, then it's not the place for you. And you have to do it without losing your dignity.
Right. That
Right.
part. You have
When
to
I
keep
was
your
council
cool.
president, yeah. When I was
'Cause I need
council
a
president,
buffer. I need a buffer.
well,
sometimes.
we all listen. I'm not saying
Listen.
I was always perfect. Now, sometimes I flew off at the handle and had to apologize to some
Right.
people.
Right.
Be human, but
Right.
Yeah.
things like when I was council president.
Mhm.
So when you're council president, people come talk to the city council, and they got all kinds of stories.
Yes.
When you're a councilman, you don't
Mhm.
run the day-to-day operations of government. Council people generally have three powers:
Okay.
Right.
the laws for that community, and I
Uh-huh.
served 6 years on the city council. I know this well.
Okay.
They do the appropriations. A lot of times people say, well, there ain't no money for this and that, but they blame it on the mayor. But generally the appropriations, like Congress,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
appropriates the money. Legislative branches of government appropriate the money.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mayor spends it.
Uh-huh.
They develop the
Okay.
budget. And so the final say on the budget is
Mhm.
always
Yes.
the legislative branch of government. The mayor can propose
Oh,
the
I
budget.
thought it was the mayor. See, now
No.
I'm learning
but
something. I'm learning something.
That's why the council votes on the budget.
Right.
They vote
Exactly
on
right.
the budget. If they
Okay.
don't vote on the budget, ain't no budget to be
That's
passed.
exactly right.
If Congress doesn't appropriate the money, that's why the
Okay.
fight with Trump and all these people now is
Uh-huh.
the power of Congress.
Mhm.
Most legislative, whether it's the state legislature, the city council,
Mhm.
or the county council,
Mhm.
that legislative branch of government is really, they make the laws,
Yes.
they're responsible for the budget. And one of the other
Okay.
things generally they have is they can investigate anything under their purview. So if something is
Okay.
going wrong, a councilman or a state legislator,
Mhm.
depending on their legislative body's rules and regulations, can investigate what the problem is. And if it
Really?
involves the government, So
Okay.
like, for instance,
Uh-huh.
say the permitting office was operating in a shambles and the
Okay.
mayor wasn't doing anything about it. The
Mhm.
city council has a big subpoena they can subpoena. Most city councils have
I didn't know
subpoena
that.
power.
I didn't know that.
Really?
You
Yeah,
can
I didn't know
subpoena
that.
people and say, why are the permits not getting out here? What's the problem?
Okay.
They don't have enough staff.
Wow. So I should have went to the
Right.
city council
Maybe
when
they
I
didn't
was
have
having a
enough
problem.
budget. Yeah. So
Okay.
the other thing that people should understand is the power of the various levels of government.
Okay.
One of the areas that people sometimes don't talk to is their state legislature.
Mhm.
A lot of
Okay.
we know that a lot of state government controls a lot of stuff, a lot of resources,
Right.
but
Uh-huh.
people very seldom talk to their state legislator.
So
Mm.
they have a lot of power as well.
They have the same. They have the same power as the
Oh,
council
yeah, it's a
on a
city.
state level.
Right. Mhm.
They represent you in a district. It could be a certain
Right.
number of cities or whatever.
Mhm, mhm.
But they go to Trenton, or I guess Raleigh is state capital.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they go to Raleigh,
Uh-huh.
and they carve up that what city gets what
True.
programs go
It's
where,
true.
what grants go where. Sometimes they
I
work
have to
very
get more
closely with.
involved. I have to get more involved in this because me being a builder and stuff like that, I really
Yeah.
need to get
So
a little
like
more
the Builders
involved.
Association, they spend a lot of money with their PAC.
Right.
support
Yeah,
that.
that's something in my lobbyists, being
Yeah,
lobbyists.
absolutely. They hire lobbyists.
That's what I'm thinking about for education. Because when
Yeah.
I was in New Jersey, I was elected to the Board of Ed at Highland Park. Now I'm laughing because I said no 3 times. Because I was already, like you said, doing something over here and I was good. We were getting grants for senior citizens to keep their homes up. But like you said, I guess they saw that. And I was like, no, I'm good over here because I don't like to lose, first of all. And there was 4 people running.
Lose
And
help
they
you
came
learn,
to me 3
girl.
times, and then I was like, okay,
Well, yeah.
God,
Once you have some kind of community base, that a lot of the local politicians will come to you. They know,
and that's what happened.
That's how I got into politics. People, I was on the number of boards, and people say, "Oh, you ought to consider running for city council." So it was funny. I ended up running for city council the first time in Irvington and lost.
Right. You said,
but ended up chief of staff to the mayor.
What? See,
because I got known.
Like Jersey, no
so
matter who.
I said, "Well, I did better. I ended up with a better job than being on the city council."
Right, exactly right.
To the mayor, and then let's see. I guess it was
that's a great
4 years later.
Caveat.
4 years later, my mayor didn't win re-election. And so I went back into business. And then 2 years later, the community came to me and said, "Man, you were great in government. You ought to run for city." I ran for and won that time. It was a special election. And Pat McNally, who became the Essex County clerk, left.
I remember that.
Left on his term. So I won a special election. And then I became councilman. And then when I ran for re-election for a 4-year term, I won that election. The colleagues picked me as council president.
Nice.
4 years later, I ended up being the mayor.
Wow, there you go. Listen,
I'm retiring this year. I don't know.
Look, we actually running out of time. We've been. I
know, right? What a great conversation.
We have so many more questions to ask. We might have to have you on for a part 2. But I do.
I'll be happy to. Just let me know. Let's get it on the schedule. I'll be happy to do it. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You're not off the hook yet. We have a couple of more questions.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
This last question, and then you have to do the CEO checkout. We'll let you know about that. But if you could sit down with your younger self before entering leadership, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, wow. I would say I would not try to do so much and not be as trusting.
Okay.
I would be much more strict than I was. I trusted some people maybe I shouldn't have. You learn from life experiences, so you maybe should correct that.
Or they're gonna learn you.
So you have to you learn to pick your fights. Pick your fights. Pick them carefully. Pick your people carefully. But the one thing I probably wouldn't do any different is just be myself. You can't be who you're not.
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes, your strengths can sometimes be your weaknesses. So being an open person, you bring the angels, but you also bring the devil.
Yes, you sure do.
It's true.
You sure do.
It's true.
And our last ending of what we asked all of our guests, which you kind of answered it in the last answer you gave us. Our CEO checkout for our guests is always, as a CEO, I'm still learning what, and I'm still unlearning what as a CEO.
So as a CEO, I'm still learning technology and technology advances and how to use them to improve the business.
Okay.
And what was the second part?
The second part is, and I'm unlearning. You're unlearning what? Still?
I'm unlearning trying to take on too much.
Okay.
I think that's a
to
common
really
goal.
Focus. Yep. Focusing on what you're really trying to achieve.
Absolutely. Well, wow. What a great conversation with Wayne Smith. That was absolutely awesome. I mean, we had a whole bunch of questions here, but because, the conversation flows so well, I think we might have asked 3 questions, but we learned a lot from just being in the position you've been in. You were able to give us a lot of insight that we can't see from the outside because most of us had never been a mayor or in that position that you were in with so many accolades of being behind mayors and in committees and state positions. I mean, you have so much knowledge. We definitely, like we said, would love to have you back for a part 2.
I'd love to come back. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Listen, I almost was going to say, oh, they don't need me to have the conversation. When I heard that the CEO check-ins. I said, oh, well, they got it. They know it.
Yeah, no, we
I
definitely
was really
needed your
impressed.
expertise. And before we go off, and I do the closing, can you please tell them again the name of your business, the phone
Wayne
number, or
Smith
how
and
they can find you?
Associates, and you can reach me at 973-204-5639.
Okay, thank you again. And Mindsetters, we hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back live next week. Don't forget, we're changing stations. We will be live
Yes.
on our Facebook Mind the Business That Pays You platform. We will no longer be showing on Monique Donyale Harrell, which is my personal page. We're moving to all the brand associated pages. And we will now be live on our YouTube page. You can go there and you have to subscribe at Biz That Pays every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're also going to be doing Mind the Business That Pays You on location. Rochelle and I now will start going out to our regular businesses. She have her Genius Grid. I have Singleton Builders. We're going to do some live from location of where we are in our real lives, so you can see that as well. So that will be in addition to us being here on Thursdays. We're going to be doing some live, going to seminars and concerts and different things that have to do with business. So make sure you stay tuned. Subscribe to our YouTube page. The link is in the description. We appreciate you, Mindsetters, and
We do.
good night.
All right. Don't forget to mind the business that pays you.
Never be
Mr.
too
Smith, thank you
busy
so much.
to
It's a
mind the
pleasure.
business that pays you.
All
Good
right.
night. Good night.
Good night.
Mind the business that pays you.